Hello, everybody. How are you doing today on this fine, whatever the day of the week it is today? So today's video is going to be about the Pussycat Dolls, which is a band that you may have heard of. There are some allegations from about 4 or 5 years ago from one of the bandmates in particular named Kaya Jones. Now, Kaya is and has been alleging since at least 2017 that the band, or so-called band, was actually not as much a band at all, but in fact was a front for a certain type of ring. What Kaya has come out and alleged is that the Pussycat Dolls was not really a band at all. It was more of a front for like a, let's call it, escort ring. But, you know, here's what I mean. I'm not allowed to say all these words on YouTube, so use your imagination. Kaya, since 2017, has been railing against not only the executives of the music industry, but in particular, the people who actually did abuse her and make her have to do certain things that she did not want to do. So let's take a look at a few different tweets that Kaya sent out around the time that she was making all these allegations in the first place in 2017. She says, "My truth, I was in a girl group. I was in a bleep ring. Oh, and we happened to sing and be famous, while everyone who owned us made the money." Now, we will get into who owned them later, but spoiler alert, Lou Taylor and Larry Rudolph do make an appearance. Kaya goes on to say, "The children you messed with that survived the abuse, we are adults now. Are you ready, old ones, to fight? 'Cause you all are looking mighty old. Tried to silence us, made us stronger. Tried to drug us, but we were wide awake. Tried to blacklist us, but our fans followed. We are not kids anymore." Kaya goes on to say, "Why don't we report it? Because we were all abused. I personally have been warned, if I tell, I will. You know, end up dead or no career. That's why I have so much respect for our military. I've been through war, but my scars you can't see. At least real war is honest." Okay, listen, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, Kaya. I don't think anybody in any war is like, we don't need to be sitting here talking about at least real war. No, baby, like war is war. We don't need to make one seem like it's good and one seem like it's bad. But I see the sentiment where she's coming from. She says, "Yes, I said leverage, meaning after they turn you out or get you hooked on substances, they use it against you. Correct. Victimizing the victim again." And then Kaya goes on to say, to be part of the team, you had to be a team player, meaning sleeping with whoever they say. If you don't, they have nothing on you to leverage. And so this idea of leverage is very important. And if anything, I think it gives us a little bit of insight into how these players operate. When I started looking into the evils of Hollywood, I was doing it from the lens of trying to figure out what was going on with Britney Spears. But if you look at the players behind Britney Spears' conservatorship, you had Larry Rudolph and you had Lou Taylor, you had a few other people. But Larry Rudolph and Lou Taylor are also involved in the Pussycat Dolls management. Not only the Pussycat Dolls, but Larry Rudolph was also responsible for a girl group called GRL. So Kaya actually had something to say about that as well. Kaya says, "I want the den mother from hell to confess why another one of her girl group girls committed blank. Tell the public how you mentally broke us." As it turns out, Simone Charisse Battle was an American singer, dancer, and actress from LA. She was a finalist on the X Factor in 2011 and a member of the girl group GRL from 2012 until her passing in 2014. The group was best known for their singles Vacation, Ugly Heart, Wild Wild Love with Pitbull. Okay, So the interesting thing about GRL is that they also had all kinds of ties to Britney Spears. If you remember, Britney Spears was also a judge on the X Factor. So not only was Britney a judge on the X Factor, where Simone, who eventually ended up terminating her life, was a finalist, but the management of these groups also overlapped, and Britney and the group GRL both appeared on the Smurfs movie soundtrack. So what I really want to talk about, and why I really wanted to bring this issue up at all, was because just because Britney is free doesn't mean that I am stopping my investigation into the players in the conservatorship. We have to get to the bottom of what happened, because if we don't, two bad things can happen. One, the people who did what they did to her will get away very easily with what they did. Two, they will continue to keep doing the same pattern to other young, vulnerable people in Hollywood and beyond, in my opinion. So there's all this overlap between the Pussycat Dolls management, Britney's management, and GRL's management. You have all these allegations that basically the band was just a front for a certain type of ring. Let's call it a trafficking ring. Let's just call it that. And now you also have Britney Spears in June coming out and comparing her situation to trafficking. This is something that I'm going to continue to look into, but I think that talking about a bunch of stories all at once in one video is really overwhelming to me. It makes me very emotional. So it does raise the question, what else is going on in Hollywood? And I do want to look just a little bit at what happens when people speak up. As you know, on this channel, I am apolitical. In my life, I am apolitical in that I do not have a political party. Now, I am not a fan of Joe Biden, and I am not a fan of Donald Trump. However, I don't think that it really matters who you vote for, what your politics are, whenever it comes to justice, fairness, and personal autonomy over your own body and your own choices. And so whenever Kaya started to come out with these heinous allegations, and I believe her, she has no reason to lie. If anything, she has a reason to lie about the abuse. She has a reason to cover it up, because she said she was threatened with her life. She was threatened with her career. You know, if you're threatened with your life and your way to make money, then I think that's probably a really good reason not to expose the abuse that you've been trying to expose. So when Kaya started coming out about these allegations, and with these allegations, all of a sudden the mainstream media started politicizing her and saying, you know, oh, well, she's a Trump supporter. And listen, I am not a Trump supporter. I know that I have Trump supporters on my channel. Hi, hey, welcome. You're welcome here. But I don't support Donald Trump. I actually don't think he should have been the president. But that doesn't matter. The fact that they were bringing up Kaya's political affiliation in any way in a reference to her allegations was wrong. It was unprofessional. It was inappropriate. Who Kaya Jones votes for and supports politically has nothing to do with the allegations she's making. But you see this time and time again, where when people start to come out and say that, you know, something happened to them, all of a sudden it becomes like a shoot the messenger type of situation where we have to go ahead and discredit Kaya Jones for being a Republican. Who cares? Can Republicans not tell the truth sometimes? Like, why is it that the mainstream media always rallies around their abuser friends to protect them and to annihilate victims? And it doesn't only happen on this side of things. It happened also with Christine Blasey Ford, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, whenever she made allegations against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Everybody was like, oh, she's lying, she's this, that, the other. Now, in that case, the politics were reversed. And in that case, I still felt the same way. Why are y'all attacking a woman who it would be very nonsensical for her to be lying about this? Let people have innocent until proven guilty, but listen and take seriously these allegations, because I'm about to start doing a series on this channel where I'm going to start showing y'all every time people in Hollywood have tried to tell us what's going on. And either because of the media or because of our own biases, we decided not to listen to a lot of these allegations. We decided that those sources were not credible. Oh, they're crazy. Oh, they're cuckoo. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, they're lying. Oh, they're bitter. But you know what? What if they've been telling the truth this whole time? Because that's a big thing about Britney Spears. A lot of y'all come out and talk about, well, why didn't anybody believe us? Well, this is why. Because the mainstream media goes ahead and drags people's reputations through the mud whenever they make allegations against the media or against Hollywood. And so instead of talking about these allegations, instead what we're talking about is this woman's political affiliation, which last I checked in 2022, we're still allowed to have political affiliations and have access to justice. So that's all that I really wanted to talk about today. I wanted to bring these allegations to light, but I also wanted to just ask you to think very critically about considering the source. Whenever you see, especially a young woman in Hollywood or in entertainment, being dragged, being made fun of, being abused in the media, let's really look at what all the different players in place are. Could Larry Rudolph be behind it? I mean, we know Larry and Lou love to use the media to their advantage. They're besties with Chloe Malos. We already know because Chloe told one of us that Larry Rudolph was her source. And so we have GRL, we have Pussycat Dolls, Britney Spears, and we have Kesha all making the same type of allegations against the same group of people. Wake up, y'all. It's happening and has been happening right in front of our face this whole time. So let's be a little more gracious and compassionate in receiving allegations against powerful people in Hollywood, because people have been trying to tell us that this stuff is going on for several years. And instead of listening to them, we go ahead and get lost in the mulberry bush about what their political affiliation is. Let's stop doing that. Let's start thinking critically and ask ourselves why it is that this is the storyline that's being given to us whenever she's made some pretty crazy allegations against these people. Facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.